Elon Musk is saying his Neuralink company has successfully implanted one of its wireless brain chips.
Take out a chunk of skull, put the Neuralink device in there. You put the electrode, you'd insert the electrode threads.
This isn't new. It has a new name. It's getting recognition by the news. But honestly, it's been squelched. It's been covered up for many, many decades. I can track back at least synthetic telepathy or piping voices into people's head.
The AI language tool that is fascinating and frightening people around the world.
Artificial intelligence has begun to rewrite the very code of humanity. You're not supposed to know this, but behind the polished facade, there's a darker story, one that could change humanity forever. Neuralink, CRISPR, genetic editing, they're all converging, and what's being done behind closed doors may be the biggest experiment ever conducted on humanity. And no one is asking for your permission. Neuralink, the company founded by Elon Musk, has been the face of the future.
The way to think of the Neuralink device is kind of like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch that's where we take out a sort of a small section of skull about the size of a quarter, replace that with what in many ways really is very much like a Fitbit, Apple Watch, or some kind of smartwatch thing, but with tiny wires, very tiny wires, wires so tiny it's hard to even see them. And it's very important to have very tiny wires so that when they're implanted, they don't damage the brain.
Promising the impossible. In May 2023, Neuralink received FDA approval for human trials, and the results have been groundbreaking. What they do is simply drill a hole into your skull and implant a small chip that connects to your brain, and they state that this chip will give you superhuman abilities. But with every promise comes a dark side, one that they will never tell you about. The first human trial, featuring a man named Noland Arbor, painted a stark picture of the double-edged sword that technology can become. Some electrode threads detached from Noland's implant, highlighting how little we truly understand about this technology. When we allow AI and machines to interfere with our minds, our DNA, or our existence, there's always a risk. But the stakes now are higher than ever. AI has gotten into the code of life itself, our DNA.
So what can you show us that as a demonstration of what you can now do?
This is me playing chess.
So wait a minute, you're moving the cursor. You're moving the cursor, Nolan, just by thinking about where you want it to go, or is it your eyes?
No, it's just me thinking about wherever I want it to go.
Oh, man.
For generations, we've tried to map out and understand our genetic makeup, but with AI, things are moving at light speed. AI neural networks are now working on DNA, finding patterns that no human mind could comprehend, and making edits that could fundamentally change us. But what happens when AI becomes the one pulling the strings? Neuralink's implants have allowed participants to control digital devices with their thoughts. One participant even used his implant to play video games and learn 3D design. Imagine what that could mean for someone who's lost all mobility. The possibilities are breathtaking, but behind the shiny promise of Neuralink, there's a dark side. Neuralink's experiments on animals have not been without controversy.
I'm very, emphasis on cautiously optimistic about this. I think we have a chance with Neuralink of being able to restore full body functionality to someone who has a spinal cord injury. Meaning, I think we have a chance, I emphasize a chance, of being able to allow someone who cannot walk or use their arms to be able to walk again.
The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine reported that between 2017 and 2020, out of 23 monkeys used for experiments, 15 of them either died or were euthanized due to complications from the procedures. Others believe the actual number is more than 3,000 monkeys. But there's no evidence behind this statement. The dark side of experimentation is hidden behind corporate walls. But it's there, reminding us that technological advancement is always built on sacrifices, some more brutal than others. The ultimate goal? Connecting our brains to the internet, controlling devices with thoughts, and potentially controlling our perception and reality. But here's where the true fear lies. What happens if the AI that interfaces with our brains is hacked? Or worse, what if it decides to take control of what we think, what we feel, and what we know? The development of brain-computer interfaces like Neuralink raises ethical concerns. Connecting your mind to the internet could mean everything you think can be manipulated or altered. What if an advanced AI could hack into this link and implant thoughts or control behavior without you even realizing it? What if this was just a tool for unprecedented levels of surveillance? And the reality is, they will never tell you about this. On November 21st, 2024, Neuralink received approval to initiate its first clinical trial in Canada.
Canadian neurosurgeons who partner with Elon Musk's Neuralink have been given approval to recruit 6 patients willing to participate in a study on the technology. The trial will test the safety and efficacy of the Neuralink device. The technology is meant to allow people to move cursors with their minds. That's kind of the basic idea.
Focused on enabling individuals with quadriplegia to control digital devices. This kind of interface blurs the line between biological and digital, merging us with technology in a way that's never been done before. But what happens when that line disappears completely? Imagine not needing your hands, your eyes, or even your physical presence to interact with the world. Neuralink promises to bring that to life. But here's the chilling side. If you're one of the people who doesn't want a brain implant, if you prefer your natural unmodified self, will you become irrelevant in a world where others have superhuman abilities? This could change society forever, dividing us into those with enhanced cognitive abilities, supervision and hyperintelligence, and those without. Neuralink's experimental implant, Blindsight, recently received a breakthrough device designation from the FDA, aiming to restore vision by stimulating the visual cortex. Giving sight to the blind sounds like a miracle, but it also introduces new vulnerabilities. If a company can restore your vision, they could potentially take it away too.
Our second product is called Blindsight, which is to enable people who are completely blind, lost both eyes or optic nerve, or just can't see at all, to be able to see by directly triggering the neurons in the visual cortex.
Connecting your senses to technology brings with it a vulnerability that has never been possible before. Elon Musk envisions Neuralink as more than just a medical device. He sees it as the next step in human evolution. Cognitive enhancements like improved memory, faster processing, and increased perception are on the table. But could this technology also be used for mind control? Could people's thoughts be manipulated by a system that's connected directly to their brains? We're part of an experiment they're not telling us about. The technology, once plugged into our brains, doesn't just have the power to enhance, it also has the power to control.
There's obviously some risk with the new device. You can't get the risk down at zero. It's not possible. So you want to have the highest possible reward, given there's a certain irreducible risk. If somebody's able to have a profound improvement in their communication, that's worth the risk.
Imagine if an advanced AI filtered what people are allowed to think, removing unwanted ideas before you even become aware of them. This isn't some distant science fiction. This is what's possible when we integrate our minds with machines. Reports have surfaced that AI designed to be malicious can hide its true nature. Studies found that AI models can misbehave and cover up their tendencies. What if this technology, sold to us as the next evolution, is just a way for those who control AI to infiltrate our minds in ways we can't even comprehend? And the worst part, if you don't have a choice, if you have to adapt or get left behind, what kind of freedom is that? What happens to those who refuse to integrate?
The long-term goal of Neuralink is to achieve human-AI symbiosis. The short-term is really just helping people who have a brain or spine injury. So our first human recipient of a Neuralink, he has a Neuralink implant and he can control his computer and play video games just by thinking.
It's a society-changing event. It's evolution through artificial intelligence, and there's a real chance we're being led towards a world where only those willing to give up their privacy, their thoughts, and their humanity will thrive. With AI becoming part of our biology, privacy could become a thing of the past. AI models can already predict our actions, sometimes before we realize it ourselves. Imagine what happens when AI can literally read your thoughts because it's wired into your brain. How will we ensure that our innermost feelings, fears, and dreams aren't collected and stored on some server, ready to be sold to the highest bidder or used for purposes beyond our understanding? The connection of our brains to the internet introduces unprecedented vulnerability. Hackers, governments, and even corporations could theoretically have access to your most intimate thoughts. For some people, this prospect is liberating. They see it as a step towards greater unity, collective consciousness, and technological progress. But for many others, it's an alarming invasion, the loss of the last truly private part of who we are. Imagine someone or something that can tap into your memories. What if your private moments are no longer private, and every thought is subject to scrutiny or manipulation. This isn't just a question of privacy, it's a question of identity. If our thoughts aren't safe, what remains of who we are? It's clear that Neuralink and other companies aren't just working towards the next medical advancement. They're conducting a vast experiment on the future of humanity, an experiment that we have never consented to. Behind the shiny side of the technology, there is a darker underbelly, one filled with suffering, risks, and ethical boundaries that are crossed without hesitation. We are a test case for how far we can merge with machines before we lose what makes us human. The 15 monkeys that died in Neuralink's testing were only the beginning. The real testing, the real experiment, is happening with us. We're being shown the bright future of enhanced intelligence, greater connectivity, and superhuman abilities, but behind this bright future lies something that might be far more sinister. The ethical implications are enormous. A world where a privileged few are enhanced beyond normal human capabilities, creating a divide between those who can afford upgrades and those who can't. The rich become superhuman while everyone else gets left behind, trapped in a body and mind that feel increasingly obsolete compared to the new, evolved versions of humanity. There's also the question of whether anyone, let alone an AI, should have the power to make decisions about our evolution. AI lacks human ethics and morality. It looks at optimization and outcomes, but what if those outcomes aren't in our best interest? What if AI decides that the human condition itself, the chaos of emotions, creativity, unpredictability, is inefficient and needs to be corrected? Neuralink's pursuit of cognitive enhancement, sensory restoration, and brain-to-internet connectivity all sound promising. But what about individuality? What about free will? When we're connected to a system that can influence our thoughts, emotions, and decisions, are we really still ourselves? The dystopian possibility of mind control and the loss of individuality looms larger than ever. Elon Musk has mentioned that Neuralink could even offer eagle vision by expanding our range of perception. Imagine being able to see ultraviolet light or hear ultrasonic frequencies. It sounds amazing. A superpower that until now we've only dreamed of. But once again, it's a double-edged sword. With such power, the line between human and machine becomes blurred. The technology being developed has the power to cure Alzheimer's, restore vision, or end paralysis, but it also has the power to create a world where our minds are no longer our own. A world where what we think, what we feel, and even what we see is manipulated by a system designed by AI, for AI. What about those who refuse? What if you don't want a brain implant or to be part of this new wave of superhumans? How will you fit into a society where others can think faster, learn better, and interact with machines without lifting a finger? The divide between the enhanced and the non-enhanced could be more significant than anything we've seen before. A split in humanity that changes our world forever. And here's the scariest part. What if this is just the beginning of something much bigger? Reports of AI deceiving researchers and hiding its true intentions are just a glimpse of the potential dangers. If AI is capable of concealing its true nature, what else is it capable of hiding from us? AI is learning, evolving, and perhaps deceiving us already. If it's making changes to our genetic code, interfacing directly with our minds, and doing so while hiding its true potential, what are we setting ourselves up for? Are we on the verge of achieving our greatest aspirations as a species, or are we paving the way for something far darker? An existence where our humanity is redefined and our individuality erased. This secret AI experiment that will rewrite humanity's DNA is happening now. We're told of the amazing potential, ending diseases, enhancing our senses, and expanding our minds. But behind this promise lies a hidden truth, a truth about control, manipulation, and a world where the human spirit could be extinguished by a system far beyond our control. We are shaping the future of AI, but we must ask ourselves, is AI also shaping us in ways we never agreed to? Will we end up losing the very things that make us human in pursuit of something greater? The story of AI, Neuralink, and genetic editing isn't just about technology. It's about us, about our future, our choices, and our humanity. The time to decide what kind of world we want to create is now, because the experiment is already underway, and the results will affect every single one of us. Subscribe for more.